Oh my word.
We're Chris and Sarah,
a husband and wife creative duo.
5 years ago, we met cycling across America. 3 years ago, we got married, and our current adventure is traveling and working full-time out of our DIY Sprinter van.
We're on a mission to live more meaningful lives by inviting other people along the way to join us in the adventure. We are Let's Be Us. Alaska has 8 national parks, only 3 of which are accessible by car. Park number 1. Kenai Fjords.
Alright guys, we are here in our first national park of Alaska. We're at Kenai Fjords National Park.
By the way, we definitely pronounced this wrong the entire time, so we're sorry.
It's just outside of Seward, Alaska, which is a little fishing town kind of right on the coast in the Kenai Peninsula. We really missed out. And we're just doing a short little, doesn't even get to be called a hike, but a little walk. It's like a mile up and a mile back, and the trail is like super easy and it's really busy, but it's supposed to be one of the best ways to see the park. So we went to the visitor center and we asked them, we're like, hey, what is the best way to see this park? And they said really the best 2 options were either take a 5 to 8 hour boat ride with over 100 people, which is also very pricey.
Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic port aboard this tiny ship.
Or we could do this little tiny walk and go up here and see the glacier. So we chose the free walk. It gets us outside, gets us moving for a little bit. And yeah, so we just started a few minutes ago and it's beautiful. And you know, we say it's really busy. Like they were letting off like a cruise ship tour bus group right behind us. We've only passed like 1 person so far.
Yeah.
So the rest are like still behind us, I guess. But
So we're gonna go see a glacier.
yeah.
There's also a longer 8-mile hike option, and that gets you on the top of the ice field. This wasn't an option for us during this trip, but it's definitely worth mentioning here. Both hikes offer incredible views of the glaciers. Along the drive into the park and along the walking path, you'll notice markers. These markers represent where the glacier was at that specific year.
It's a far reach from you to me. I feel the time and the space between. It's 1,000 miles of loneliness. 1,000 miles from you. Every mile on my map leads to you. It leads to you. Every mile on my path leads to you.
Up next, Denali National Park. So we're in Denali National Park right now.
For the second time.
The second time. We did have a tour because the way you see Denali apparently is there's a bunch of bus tours that allow you to get inside the park because you technically cannot drive past more than 15 miles. But for the second time, we are not able to go into Denali today.
Yeah, so we've driven the 15 miles once already just to sort of see what we could see by our own car. And we're gonna do that again today to show you guys. Granted, the whole park is pretty, but really the way the park is laid out is if you really want to see the main peak, you know, Mount McKinley or Mount Denali or whatever you want to call it.
For those of you who don't know what Denali is, here's an informative postcard. There we go. So Denali has a bunch of moose, but really it's this mountain right here. And you can see that it's over 20,000 feet and it's the largest mountain in North America. That's your educational moment.
The farther back you can go into the park, the more of the mountain you're gonna see. We are not able to get on the bus. And we had plans for it the first time we were in Denali, and we travel with the dog full time, and it's not his fault at all. But reservations with the dog sitter, they sort of fell through, nothing really worked out. And so we were just gonna enjoy camping at the campsite. We saw the visitor center, we learned about the park and that kind of thing, and did what we could with the dog. Jeez.
Oh my word.
Holy cow, look at it.
There's its babies right over there. There's two little calves.
But now we're back and we made reservations with another dog sitter. Second time around, we looked up on Rover a dog sitter that was close to Denali National Park. And twice, when I was looking for a dog sitter, the first time this girl popped up and I just didn't use her because she was busy. And then the second time she popped up again. So I contacted her and she was available for today, which is when we booked her. Rover, actually, her address was on Alaska Lane. And she lives in North Carolina.
Yeah, so she lives on Alaska Lane in North Carolina.
But it mapped her to, guys, it pinpointed her right next to Denali, like a town or two up.
This is the first time that this has ever happened with Rover. We've had a really good experience with them.
Yeah, and they've really been, and all the dog sitters have been really great, and she was really nice, and it was just like this weird glitch in their system. Not totally thrilled with how they handled it. We did get refunded, but by this point, we're $87 out because we had already booked our bus tickets, but it was too late to cancel them. So our original plan was to take the bus to Wrangell-St Visitor Center, which is 66 miles into the park. That's a 6 to 8 hour bus ride round trip. And if you want to like check out the visitor center and do some hikes around it, it's going to be a lot longer. Obviously, we can't leave Kramer in the van for that long. That's the main reason we need a dog sitter.
We're just kind of out of luck.
But this is us trying to make the most of the situation we have. Bottom line is, traveling with a dog is really fun, but just go into it knowing that national parks are the hardest thing. And this has been by far the hardest one. We've always had solutions other places, but this is so remote. Anyway, let's go, guys.
Yeah.
Though. Can you not lean back anymore?
No, that's as far as back as I can go.
It looks awkward.
If you knew, there. Here.
Hush.
Hush, Kramer.
That right there, that's one of the cream buses, the creamy white yellowy thing. Those are the ones I believe that have like the guided talking on them. We're about 15 miles into the park. I think it's Savage River. So this is like the Savage River Loop trailhead, and right there you can barely see the little American flag across the bridge. That's where they stop you. That's essentially where they tell you turn around. You can't go any further unless you have a pass to go to stay at one of the campsites that are further in. We've been out here walking around for, I guess, about an hour or so now, just kind of enjoying it. It's a little busy, but I mean, busy by Denali standards are very different than like busy by Yosemite or Yellowstone standards. I mean, there's like, what, 10, 15 cars, including us here right now, so it's not that bad.
All right. So I think, are we gonna go for lunch?
Yeah, it's a little early for lunch, but we've been up since like 5, so.
We're hungry. And if you don't know, I'm a huge Huckleberry fan, and I did notice that somebody was serving Huckleberry ice cream here.
What?
So I may get some Huckleberry.
I I don't think we hiked enough for that. But.
We got Huckleberry.
Gosh, it's good to be back in the Northwest.
After we took in as much of the national park as we were able to, we headed over to the Denali Highway just east of the park to experience more of the tundra landscape surrounding Denali.
We're leaving Denali.
We're about to hit the road and I guess head back to Anchorage.
Yeah, Anchorage is about 3.5 hours from here right now, and so we just finished driving on this dirt road, a highway next to Denali Park. It was beautiful. I think for this trip, we planned a lot. Actually, Sarah planned a lot, and
which is big for me because I don't like going or traveling by a schedule.
No.
I like to have room to wiggle and sort of like change up things if we want to.
I like to go where like the river takes us. You know, we just want to be. We don't like making plans a lot of times.
I don't like commitment with travel.
Well, and it's because a lot of times something else pops up and then we have to push that back, or something else happens, we have to cancel, and this is kind of like a prime example of.
Yeah.
So.
But this is sort of the exception. Like typically we like being able to go to a place and sometimes we get somewhere that we think we're going to absolutely love and we really don't, and it's really nice not to have like reservations somewhere because we could just up and leave, and then there's other places we roll into and we actually love and had no idea we're going to. So, and then we can stay there as long as we want. But Denali was different because I knew that Alaska's, I guess, tourist season it's a very small window.
Yeah.
And so we booked early and we definitely wanted to be here on the early side of the peak season. We knew that the best opportunity to see, the Denali wildlife was really going to be on those bus tours. That's what everybody tells you at the visitor center and everything. And that was not an option like we told you guys just because of the dog. Like we tried our best and it just didn't happen. So this is really just us making lemonade from lemons, I guess, to be cliche. But it's true. I mean, we're doing what we can and seeing what we can. And I mean, we got out and I wouldn't say we hiked. I mean, we were out there for at least an hour and a half today, walking around like a couple of trailheads, like going a little bit down one, then going down a little bit into the next one, and just sort of like trying to explore and see it. And I'd love to come back sometime and actually go farther in, because most of the like good hiking and stuff, you really do have to take the bus into the park to actually
get to the hiking trails.
Well, there's not a ton of hiking trails in Denali, but in the middle of the park there's another visitor center. From there there's more trails that you're kind of like closer to the actual main peak, Mount Denali or whatever. So a little disappointed, I think, but I don't think that's necessarily the national park's fault. I think it's just this is our circumstance right now. Like, we did what we could. We did plan, and I don't want to say this is why we don't plan because nothing ever works out, but it feels like that right now. And it was still a really nice time. I think, Chris, we were talking and we said, like, was this worthwhile? Like, do we feel like it was worth our time coming up here? What do you think?
I think it was worthwhile, especially like it was sort of like a scouting trip. We got to come up and experience and see what Denali and what this part of the country is all about. I think you said it best actually a few minutes ago. We got to experience more of Alaska. I don't know if we really experienced Denali.
Yeah, I did say that. Good words right there.
She's very smart.
I think we didn't really see Denali. I think we did what we could, and so part of me is like, oh, Denali's not as great as I thought it was going to be, but I don't think that's true. I think it's just our experience was not the experience that it should have been.
Yeah.
But life happens, guys, so this is us just dealing with it.
So we want to ask you, how do you make plans and how do you make sure those plans happen? So if you have any tips on how you keep your plans from other things happening, let us know in the comments below.
So we are on our way from Anchorage to Wrangell-St. Elias. Is that how you say it? Wrangell National Park. We're going to Wrangell National Park. I think it's Wrangell-St. Elias, though. But it is the largest in area national park. So we're gonna go there, check it out. It's our third park that we're hitting in the state of Alaska. There are more parks in Alaska than this, but our understanding is a rush. You have to take a boat or a plane to get to, and for a few different reasons, we're not going to do it this trip, but considering we've only seen a fraction of Alaska, I'm sure we'll be back one day. So, yeah, I think tonight the plan is to get to the national park, and then there's this one or two roads that kind of go like to the back of the park, and there's still some communities that are back there that have been there for years, and we'll probably just find a camp spot along the way and then maybe explore a little bit more tomorrow.
Wrangell-St. Elias National Park is located in southeastern Alaska, spanning 13.2 million acres, stretching from ocean all the way to Mount St. Elias, North America's second tallest peak, which stands at 18,009 feet. The park is larger than Yellowstone, Yosemite, and Switzerland combined. It also contains 9 of the 16 tallest peaks on U.S. soil. This vast landscape reminds you just how small you are. The park is home to glaciers, endless wildlife, and some of the quietest miles of dirt roads we've yet to encounter. While we loved our time in the national parks of Alaska, our biggest takeaway would have to be how much there is still to see and experience. More mountains, more glaciers, more of everything. We'll be back because we were only able to scratch the surface this time around. So we're actually driving to the Arctic Ocean. So,
Ooh.